So Texas is the latest state to pass a law banning critical race theory in schools. Arkansas, Idaho, Oklahoma, and Tennessee have already made the move this year, and about 10 other states are considering it and have legislation in the works. Yet still, as we just saw, most people can't really define what it is. So here's critical race theory in a nutshell. Progressives say it exposes how racism is woven into all aspects of American history, institutions, culture, and everything else. There's no escaping it. So whether you're conscious of it or not, you're participating in it. They see inequality as evidence of racism and unearned privilege. Critical race theory categorizes everyone not as individuals, but as members of a group based on your skin color. Your group is either oppressed and you're therefore a victim, or your group is an oppressor and you're therefore guilty. What it ignores is the content of your character. All that's important is the color of your skin, something, of course, you have no control over. I should also note it's not just about race. Every identity group can be categorized as either oppressed or oppressor, men and women, sexual orientation, etc. Critics argue that seeing the entire world in this way is inherently divisive and fatalistic. And that's why teaching it to children is a special worry. It divides little kids against each other and destroys bonds of trust. And instead of teaching a child, you have infinite possibility, it teaches him or her, you're a victim or you're guilty, and there's nothing you can do about it. The implications of teaching a critical race theory approach to the world can be pretty far-reaching, and our next guest has firsthand experience of what that's like in schools, and he's also been thinking about how to use laws that ban it. We're joined now by Roy Maynard, a senior writer at the Texas Public Policy Foundation, and you've also been a high school debating coach for about 20 years, so you're the perfect person to have this discussion with. Let's jump right into it. Texas is the latest state now to ban teaching critical race theory in schools. A big question I have is how the law can actually be enforced, because from what I've seen, and we just ran a Q&A featuring this, that most people have no idea what critical race theory means, although they've likely seen it in action. So what I want to know, maybe we can start by you explaining how the law approaches this, then we can talk about how it could possibly be implemented.
Sure. So the Texas law says that teachers cannot require or make part of a course a series of race-related concepts, including the idea that one race is superior to another race or one sex is superior to another sex, or that someone is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive based on their ethnicity.
So they can't teach these things. What if it sometimes it's just sort of an attitude that a teacher is bringing to the classroom and, you know, an approach they take? Will that sort of behavior be covered as well?
On a case-to-case basis, I think the enforceability is an issue. You know, it's hard to say what goes on in every classroom in every school in Texas, but I think that what this law will do will send a strong message that critical race theory is not appropriate for our children, that it's not something that we should be teaching in the public schools, even though it is.
So maybe you've been a debating coach for 20 years, is that right?
Yes, I have.
So you've been watching this kind of slowly creep into the debating programs, at least. Could you explain for us how that looks? What does that look like?
Sure. So I taught policy debate for many years, also called cross-examination debate. And in cross-examination debate, there's a single topic every year, and that can be something from the oceans to space to energy policy. And within each topic, teams make a case. You know, here's my plan that will implement this resolution. Under normal debate theory, the way that you counter that plan is you bring up negative evidence against it. You say, well, this didn't work when it was tried in another country or another state or another time. Here are reasons that it wouldn't work. Here are some negative effects that plan might cause. And that's how it used to be. about 15 years ago, critical race theory started creeping in. The argument is called a critique, Kritik, from the German spelling. And instead of arguing the affirmative case, the negative team will come in and argue the legitimacy of the United States itself. It will argue the value of debate. It will argue that nothing that the affirmative plan wants to do will work because we're so inherently racist. The country is so irredeemable that in the interest of social justice, the judge must vote negative.
Be sure to watch the entire episode, now available exclusively at EpochTV.com, a new completely censorship-free premium subscription platform brought to you by the Epoch Times. See you there.